Alright, let's get my webcam adjusted here. Alright, it's been a couple days since I streamed, but I worked on this Monday. I didn't have a lot of time to work on it yesterday, mostly because I was just super tired after work. Sort of a busy day trying to get caught up from not having a lot to do at work for a couple days. But anyway, I also played around with the colors. I think we're going to do some pretty dramatic sort of enhancing of the color towards the end, but we'll see when we get there. But I've also done some like reworking of the tentacles. That's sort of where I was at before. So like I added one back here, just, I don't know, the lack of symmetry there was bothering me. I added some suckers and did some work on like tentacle textures and stuff. But anyway, made a little bit of progress. I think it's just going to be mostly continuing that tonight. So I'll get as far as I can on the monster. I might go back and do some more work on the clouds or start working on the shore or something. I've been trying to figure out what to do with this beach. And I think I'm going to paint it like a parking lot, right? We'll do some like sunken cars leading back to the tentacles and things. Maybe like some like broken cracks and potholes and stuff at the bottom of the composition there. And I think we'll have enough space that it'll still work. Because like this guy's the focus, but like I want this to be like the tie to the real world, and I might play around with putting some like light poles in just for scale. So like the tall ones you see in a parking lot, right? But anyway. I'm going to delete these for now. I'm just kind of playing around at the end of the day, that day. So we got a human layer, got a shore layer, this folder structure doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There we go. Back at it. I'm doing like unusually few layers this time around. And I'm like really only adding in and subtracting them as like it becomes absolutely necessary. remember correctly, I was using this brush for tentacles. I don't remember. Or for the suckers on the tentacles. Yeah, that seems about right. I think we'll put those on the other side. Let's have it sort of do like a spiral around, right? So it's sort of curving around back, sort of coming down on the other side over there. So I'll grab this color here. Something like that. Let's grab this color and use that for this one. I'll obviously be going back in and sort of going over these a little bit, adding a little bit more depth and detail to them. Actually, I think I'm happy with the way this is looking, so I'm just going to merge these layers down. That's sort of what I've been doing the whole time, is just sort of working on this one layer and collapsing it down when I need to, then going back up and like adding a new layer, and so on and so forth. Sort of like repeating those steps over and over again until I get things looking the way I want. It's just so much easier to try to like keep a design sort of flowing together the way you want it to by like clipping things onto like the pre-made layer and going down and like editing that layer as you need to, rather than trying to get it right straight from the start. Alright. I think it's time to do more of the fun part on these tentacles, which is basically just to scribble in these textures. Sort of like go back on top of it and add some like splots of color. Actually, let's start with the back ones and sort of move forward. Let's go a little bit smaller on these back ones. I'm just sort of like doing is blending the colors together, just to add some like lumps and bumps on the skin. By blend the colors together, I don't mean like smudge them together. I mean like making marks in sort of like different spots. Sort of like squibbling them in there real quick. That's gonna like indicate bumps and lumps and stuff in the skin. And it doesn't need to be super detailed, it just needs to be enough to get the point across. Try not to spend too much time on it. Sort of one of the things, like, more relaxing things about painting at work is just having like the low stress activity that I can do while I wait for something to show up. It's not super like consequential, or I don't need to think too much about it. Unlike some of the work projects, or I'm pretty good, how are you? So yeah, it's pretty relaxing doing these tentacle things at work when I have the time. So you're still keeping up with the cat Inktober. Anyway. Oh no. Yeah, it always seems to be something like that. Hope your back's okay though. Yeah, that's been a big fight for me this fall too. Like, I know the feeling. When you get a little bit sick, it's hard to get like that mood back. Feeling that 100% could sort of hurt the art mood a little bit for sure. So maybe just doing like some meme cats or something for drawings would also like help improve your mood and get you back on track. So just doing something fun. Even if it's hard to sit down and do it, it'll sort of change things for you. Like Grumpy Cat. Who doesn't like some good Grumpy Cat? Just do like sophisticated Grumpy Cat or something. So something like that. I don't know, for some reason painting grumpy things that are kind of funny too. Always delightful. Puts me in a better mood just about every time. Because even if they don't turn out the best, they're still fun and funny. So it's sort of like a win-win. Things will be better either way. And also because they're memes, you can kind of get away with people still think it's great, even if you even if it's not your best painting. So. Oh, yeah, that's true. I just need to find a better meme cat then. One that's more suitable. Like a long cat. Or a ceiling cat or basement cat. I haven't seen those memes in a while. But they were always fun back in the day. Back to the early ages of the internet. Maybe on the right layer. Alfred Hitchcock did some of the better ones. They're older. I don't think they're too violent. Like The Birds is fantastic. What else did he do? Yeah, some of that vintage horror stuff was more like, I don't know, fun, psychological, sort of scary horror stuff rather than that. Like, I'm not big into horror myself, so like I don't know a lot, but yeah, definitely The Birds. And The Birds is a little bit violent, but it's not like, I don't know, Friday the 13th, Jason, that kind of stuff. Like, I think that's probably why I don't like horror movies, is I don't like super violent stuff either. So it's definitely hard to find those movies. I'll probably Photoshop my nephews and nieces and pass out candy. That's about it. It's still allergy season, so I don't really want to go anywhere. But kind of hoping to get a freeze before then, but I think we're getting a freeze like the few days afterwards. know, I'm kind of old enough at this point where, you know, I don't really go to any Halloween parties or anything. I did like carve pumpkins last weekend with some of my family, but that was about it. The new family tradition has been sort of a baked goods contests. Like my brother and sister-in-law and my brother-in-law are all pretty good cooks, so they'll like pick some pastry or something and do like a bake-off and carve pumpkins. That's pretty fun. So this year it was like tarts and pumpkin carving, yeah. And last year it was brownies and pumpkin carving, so. That, I think I mentioned like photoshopping my nieces and nephews in their Halloween costumes and stuff, but that's probably about it. I also don't really like horror movies, so like I don't do a lot of like horror movie stuff or anything like that. The only thing I miss is trying to come up with a costume. That was always kind of fun. But I was always pretty last minute and lazy about it, so I was never super invested. Yeah, like, I guess, like, I tend to like sci-fi horror stuff, just because I tend to see it more as, like, sci-fi than horror. And those are kind of fun. Like, Alien and that stuff, like, at least the first one or two were fun. Just because there was more to it than, you know, violence and stuff. You had, like, the big scary monster. And sort of, like, the spaceships and space exploration kind of stuff. You know, I might watch something, come to think of it, like, I might watch something like What We Do in the Shadows, so like, sort of a vampire comedy kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm more into like that kind of stuff, like the sort of cheesy comedies that make fun of all the tropes and stuff like that. Yeah, before my asthma got bad, I actually used to like to go to like haunted houses when I could find a group to go with. It wasn't like necessarily like directly on Halloween thing I'd do, but like around this time of year. Just because it's always kind of fun getting those like jump scares in real life. And like, I kind of wish I could like spend more time going there now, just because I've met a lot of people that like actually work in haunted houses at some of the conventions, and it's just makes it seem a lot more like fun than it was in the past, just because I know a little bit more about what goes on behind the scenes and stuff. There's like a lot of like puppetry and other artistry that goes into it. I don't know, I think I'd appreciate it more these days than I would have in the past. Yeah, like the one thing I don't miss about them is like I was always afraid I was gonna like accidentally like miss a turn or something and step on someone that was working in the haunted house, because I've actually done that a few times where someone was like hiding on the floor to jump scare people and I turned the wrong corner and like stepped on them instead of like going the right direction. That just seemed kind of awkward. I was more paranoid about that with haunted houses than anything else half the time. Sometimes those like dark corners that are like unmarked just to make things scarier, just make it harder for me to figure out where to go. And then you have somebody like, I don't know, try to do a jump scare and just, yeah, it's a little bit awkward and weird. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as far as like scary movies and Halloween stories and stuff goes, I don't know, kind of the point now where there's enough scary stuff in real life. I don't need to add to it with imaginary monsters and stuff. Same with all like the violence and gore and whatnot. I can just watch the news if I want to be scared and grossed out and angry. Well, these are like, I don't know. Kind of feel like they're more strange creatures rather than monsters. You know, they're not paying anything that's like mauling anyone or doing anything bad, right? It's more like a representation of like change or, you know, the unknown rather than, you know, some violent hidden secret creature, right? I feel like it's handing people like gifts and stuff, not and chasing them down a dark alleyway or haunting their dreams or something. So yeah. Different kind of scary, I guess. Thinking about that question about like whether my monsters are horror or not is probably something I should think about going forward, though, because it's a pretty valid question, even if it's sort of like meant in jest. Yeah, exactly. It's giving someone a present, too. I mean, can't be too mad about that. Too afraid of it. I don't know, maybe what I should do for Halloween is just do like do monster painting. Might be the new thing I do for Halloween. Probably be streaming a little bit later than normal, but that could be fun. Just trying to come up with some new spooky creature kind of thing. Sort of like pick a scene and paint some sort of cryptid or other sort of strange creature into it. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. But I'm always leery about adding 3D software into like 2D software, just because like Photoshop has it actually, and it's useful sometimes, but it's just so like hard to use that I'm always a little bit leery about it. Then again, Procreate's like Apple tends to do a little bit better job making software run smoothly, so like it'll probably be better on Procreate than Photoshop, but I'll have to wait and see. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I also feel like people have been like trying that for years, and like the programs always end up more complicated than they were intended to be. So we'll see. Just because if you want to do anything like super precise in it, which is what a lot of people end up wanting to do, you need a lot of like really fine controls, and that's where the software tends to get complicated and inaccessible, is adding in all those extra controls. So I've played with some like VR painting stuff, and I imagine it'll be like kind of similar to that, just not with VR headset. And it's fun, but it's messy. Yeah, it's probably the best way to describe it. Where like you're making like 3D vector brush marks, but you're painting like planes on a surface or like flower petals to make 3D shapes. And it's really hard to turn those into like a full-on like 3D object. But I can see it being a useful tool for like planning out paintings and stuff. Also, I think I should probably head to bed, so I'll probably leave this here for tonight. I definitely need to do some like studies of the suckers on tentacles, so that might be what I'm doing tomorrow night, if I don't have time to do it at work. So I'll be doing some studies on those, and probably I'll be looking for like some like landscapes to put in here, because I think instead of a beach, I'm gonna do it as like a parking lot, just so it seems a little bit more surreal, where this like creature just sort of invaded the world and sort of changed, I don't know, someplace that everyone's familiar with, like maybe a Walmart parking lot or something, into see. But yeah, thanks for coming, and I will probably be back tomorrow night. Actually, you know what? I might take the night off and watch Critical Role instead of streaming, just because I haven't watched them in a while, and they just started a new campaign. So maybe not tomorrow, but Friday for sure. Anyway, thanks for coming, and see you later.